See, this is the tricky part.
I'm forwarding to you, Emily.
Can you send it to me as well?
Yeah. Grant, you're home qualified?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I
This is cool.
know, Fred.
He's a...
You're muted. Right?
Hello? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's good.
How's it good? I can hear you.
I can see it up there. The sound is working. No? Yep.
Yeah. It sounds like walkie-talkie though.
It sounded like what was up there again.
Welcome to the walkie-talkie session. That's what it is.
Guys.
Emmy, how does it sound? Is it no good?
Clubhouse.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing.
Is that
1, 2,
better?
3. Yeah.
Is it better? Is it better?
Yeah, it sounds fine. She said it's clear.
No, she said sounds good. I mean, is it better?
She said it always sounded good.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna use this. Cool?
Use what? What, this sounds better?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. What are you using?
Instead of those, it's just
Oh, that's fine. All right, so we don't need these then. That's fine. Then use the shotgun mic. Then we don't need these. Then I don't want to.
Okay.
Right?
I guess if it sounds good then.
Does it sound
I just don't know what it sounds like. We just did this whole setup for the other one. Just switch it at the last minute.
Ron,
Good on
do me a favor. Get on,
You muted it, Kat?
just listen.
This looks so good.
That looks nice, yeah.
Oh, it looks so good on this too.
Let me see. Oh, very nice.
What's going on, everybody?
How we doing, everybody?
Welcome.
Guys, if everybody could just, if you can't hear us, so if you can't hear us, just let us know. Just want to make sure the audio is good. Hit open the, we're good?
Someone said hi.
All right, good deal. Well, welcome everybody to another, our third installation of the Disruptors Network. We have a really, really special guest today, and we're live on Instagram at this point also, and Clubhouse, for those who are on Clubhouse. If you guys can't stay on here, you got to run out, but we're Clubhouse, and we are live on Instagram at the moment.
Yeah.
So we're having a really, really special guest today, and I'm really, really pleased to have him. You know, Vic, can you give us a little background on the speaker?
Absolutely. So this next speaker needs no introduction, but I'm going to give you guys an intro in case you have not heard of him. Our next speaker is a coach, a mentor, a broker. He's an author. He's achieved nearly $8 million in sales, and his company has been featured in Inc. 500 and the Inc. 5000 list as one of the fastest growing companies in America between 2015 and 2017. And I don't need to mention, but he's interviewed Kobe Bryant, he's had Gary Vee, Alex Rodriguez, Lori Harder, and his relentless events. Guys, help me welcome the one and only Danny Morel.
So Danny will be on in a couple of seconds. We just wanted to give you guys an update. We told him to come on in a couple of minutes. We give him a couple of warm-up to put him in.
Yeah.
But we just want to update everybody also, and I'm just going to check the number right now. We want everybody to sign up for our text community, because the meetings on a go forward on here are going to be through our text community. So if you could all text me at 646-687-5311. That's 646-687-5311. All the stuff on this is going to start to become private just for our community, and we're going to send the text out to you guys first. So it's important that you sign up for the text messaging. And for all the questions everybody's going to have for this, just hold them till the end. And whether you're on Clubhouse or you're here, we're going to take all questions for Danny at the end once we get through some of our own questions for him. And here he is now. He's coming on right this second.
With a nice logo too, so this is gonna be good.
What's going on, Danny?
Hey,
How we doing, brother?
how are you?
Nice to see you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you
brother.
for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So Danny, I got to tell you that we you were one of the guests that people have been most excited about, so I'm really, really excited to meet you and talk to you, because it's the first time I'm ever speaking to you.
Yeah.
Usually I know the guests before they come on, and this time we don't.
Yeah.
And I have my spiritual, vegan, holistic brother Elohio here, so we kind of going to cover both real estate and the other side of the spectrum also. So again, just really, really happy for you to come on, and I appreciate you doing it for us.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. And you know, it's interesting. The beautiful thing is that when you really look at it, they're all in one, because whether it's, you know, real estate or you know, insurance or business or whatever you do, it's just a reflection of your soul. It's just a reflection of who you are. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and doing some research to speak to, and what I know from before, between the three of us, we have very similar backgrounds. I was born in Brooklyn. I know you were born in New York City eventually, and you made your way out to California. And I know from listening to your story that the beginning of your life wasn't so easy, and your journey out to California wasn't so easy. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like, being born here and heading out there and just starting something fresh, and maybe just the beginning of how real estate helped you kind of grow once you got out there?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I could vividly remember the memory that is coming back to me right now is I'm 13 years old. My parents split up, they divorced. I've got a 11-year-old little brother, and I've got a 3-year-old little brother. We were packing our bags, we're moving to California. And I remember that we were in this little red pickup truck that my aunt had. And it was, back then it was my aunt, her German Shepherd, my mother, myself, and my 2 brothers in a 2-seater pickup truck, right? And we pulled up to my dad's house, I don't know what for. And he was starting to argue with my mom for some reason. And I like grabbed the dog, the German Shepherd, and like I put it at the window. And it was like an act of defiance with my father. It was an act of leadership. And yet now that I'm more connected with myself, it was actually a wound that was created in myself, because None of us should have those types of experiences or those types of negative feelings towards our parents, because our parents are the ones that gave us the ultimate gift, which was the gift of life, you know? And so we moved out here to California, and things were really, really rough, because when we were out in New York, we went to private school. You know, we at least had two incomes coming in, so things were okay. And all of a sudden, it's just my mom. And my mom was this very quiet woman. She had a lot of power inside of her. She just didn't have her voice, you know. And now I realize that her throat chakra just wasn't open. And as a result, I remember she had to take a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I remember hating my mom, seeing my mom put on that uniform. But that's what she had to do, you know. She did that. We were on welfare for a little bit of time, and I just remember in high school just being like that poor kid, you know. I remember in junior high specifically, this is where I got my sales chops, because my mom couldn't give me money for food. And so I was a little bit embarrassed by that, but then I thought to myself, it's either you're going to be embarrassed or you're going to eat, you know. And so I would go out, and every single day for lunch, I did this for 2 years in a row. Every single day, I would ask everybody, hey, you have 5 cents, you have 10 cents, you have a quarter, you have 5 cents, you have 10 cents, you have a quarter. And I would just ask and ask and ask and ask, because I could have got the free lunch line where the welfare kids were, but like, I just wasn't having that. I didn't want that for myself, you know? And so it was either the free lunch line or go do this. And this is what I did. And every day I would accumulate like $1.25. And there were these little cheeseburgers and like this little carton of milk. And that's what I would get. And that's how I would eat, you know. And then, and that's where I learned how to sell, really. And later on in life, that came back to me tenfold when it came to door knocking. But I remember high school, guys. And I remember in high school, it was like I graduated. And I was laying in bed the day after graduation. And I could still remember this. It was like the devil and the angel, right? And the devil was like, okay, it's time to get a job. It's time to go do what everybody else does. And the angel was like, no, you have more potential in you, you know? And that's when I decided, I said, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I just have this feeling I'm going to buy my mom a house by the time I'm 21 years old. And I just said it, and I just declared it, and I just started saying it, and I started believing in it. And I didn't know how. None of my family members owned the home. There was only one aunt that owned the home, and she was like the evil aunt, because if you have money, you're evil, you know. And I just said, I got to do this for us, because it doesn't look like no one's coming to save us. So if anyone's going to save us, it's like, it has to be me. I got to save myself, type of deal, you know. And sure enough, that led me to a job fair. I was working 6 days a week at the time. I was working at a bodybuilding store. I was working at something called the California Conservation Corps. And I met a real estate agent. I started asking him about houses. And I started asking him, and he's talking to me, and I'm just, in my mind, I just hear one question. I say, hey, let me ask you a question. He says, sure. I said, is there any money in real estate? He goes, yeah, there actually is. And I go, all right, tell you what. I said, I work 6 days a week right now. I'll give you my Sundays. I'll work for you on Sundays. And I don't want you to pay me anything. I just want you to show me the ropes. Could you do that? He says, sure, I can do that. Great, no problem. Because to me, and this is something that your listeners have got to understand, to me, the lessons you learn is 10 times more valuable than the money you earn. I'm going to say that again. The lessons you learn is 10 times more valuable than the money you earn, because you can take those lessons and you can apply them anywhere in life, right? And that's what I dedicated myself to. And the way my career got started, he would send me to a swap meet. And he would send me to a swap meet. I'd have to wake up at 4 in the morning. I'd have to go reserve the spot from this little old Russian lady. And I would put up these posts with these pictures of houses. And he said, okay, people are going to walk by. Just talk to them, get their name and phone number. And then I'll do the rest. I'll take it from the rest. And sure enough, that's what I did. But I took it a step further. I got name, phone numbers, social security numbers, incomes, addresses, everything. And that first day I got like 25 people, and he was only expecting 5. I was hungry. And this is another lesson your people have got to learn. The being choice is what made me hungry. The being choice was, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to change my life, and I don't want to live in this shitty apartment anymore. I want to buy my mother a house. When you have the correct being choice, all of a sudden your eyes start waking up and you start looking all around you. All around you, and that apartment that you live in right now that you're just comfortable with because everyone in your family has always lived in an apartment, all of a sudden you'll go, no, 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 no. I don't want this for myself anymore. No, this is not for me. And when you look at your bank account and that stress that you feel when you go to the grocery store and you're, wondering if the card is going to go through, you all of a sudden go, wait a minute, hold on a second, time out. No, 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 no. I don't want this for me. And then when you get in your car and you have to like close the door and it doesn't close right, or the windshield is broken, or your cell phone, you're so used to your cell phone being cracked open, all of a sudden you start going, no, wait a minute, hang on a second. That's not the life that I want. And that's what started happening to me. I just started really understanding and seeing really with my vision and my spiritual eyes, the life that I had because of the programming that my family, who loved me dearly, programmed me to live in, right? Versus the life that was available for me. And I just said, I don't want this life anymore. I want the life that's available for me. And I went all in, man. I went all in. I worked hard for 3 years in a row. I worked 7 days a week for 3 years in a row, nonstop. By the time I was 27, I was making $1.5 million in real estate, working 4.5 days a week. I lost everything right after that. I went dead broke, which was part of my journey. And I later founded a real estate company called Intero Real Estate Services. We grew it from 0 to 1.1 billion in annual sales, and I just sold that company in December. And now I'm free. And I just want to help other people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure you have a couple of questions built out of that.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so it seems like you tapped into something that I like to talk to people about is really being able to understand the subconscious and understanding like there's so many different things that are trapped inside of them that like prohibits to not being able to motivate yourself, to actually be, to never really follow your dreams. You're like stuck in those moments when you were a kid and different things like that. How important is it for you to really like, because I know that you speak on stages and you help a lot of people be able to get out of the funk that they're in, right? How important is it for people to understand that they're really trapped within their subconscious beliefs about themselves?
Yeah, I love that question. Thank you so much for that question. At the root of who everybody is, every single one of us are perfect. Every single one of us are love. Every single one of us have all the potential in the world to become whoever it is that we want to become. As a matter of fact, what's going on inside of your mind right now, you see something that you want. You see something that you want to become. You see something that you want to have. It's there and you're seeing it because that's who you are. Everything you've ever wanted to be, everything you've ever wanted to have, and all of the tools that you will ever need to achieve what it is that you want to achieve in your business, you already have inside of you. Here is the problem, and this is what most society doesn't realize that the Matrix has done to all of us, okay? There are layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of programming that basically guard our minds and trap our minds from the freedom we had when we were first born. There is also layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of hurt and trauma that guards our heart from the emotional strength that we were born with from the moment we were born. And that's the journey, my friends. The journey is removing those layers of programming and removing that hurt and that pain. Because when you can do that, then you realize literally you are so powerful, people, that your life right now is very simply a reflection of your thoughts. That's it. Now, because I remember hearing that 10 years ago, and I was like, yeah, okay, you are what you think. Yeah, I get it. No, you don't understand. You don't understand how deep that is. You can literally attract the money you need, the partner you need, you can attract the life that you want, you can attract everything. The problem is we're not attracting any of it because we're so clogged up. And so I think it's very, very important, man, to your question. I think it's very, very important. Yeah.
You kind of gave me an opening to go back to something that I listened to you talk about. And me and you have a very similar trajectory. I got in the business in 2001. I was really and the business just went like this, right? All the way up, 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 and 2008 came and I went like this. And I know you have the same story, that you got to the financial crisis and you kind of lost everything. And so did I. And similarly, I didn't know how to manage my money the right way. And I didn't know what I was doing. So when I got there, I was completely unprepared, right? And 2008 really put me into a very, very dark place that I had to dig out of. And when I look back on it now, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me because it made me strong. But you went through something very similar, and I'd like you to just talk about that a little bit, like getting to the top by 27, being in a certain place, and then back to the bottom again, and then starting over again. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. First things first, how old were you when that happened to you?
I was around 27, 28. So I think we were very close to being the same age when it went on.
There's a reason for that. For all you men that are out there, pay attention. This is important. Most men will go through some sort of a tragedy or some sort of life-altering circumstance between the ages of 27 and about 32. And the reason why is because at that time, we are getting ready and prepared to become fathers. We're getting ready and prepared to become leaders. And we're really getting ready and prepared to become who we are intended to become. Before you're a father, right? In my case, this happened to happen to me. Before you're a father, you're very selfish. In other words, the world from your eyes is all about you. And so sometimes you need that humbling. Sometimes you need that crash, that financial crash, to come in and like kick you in the teeth and make you realize, hang on a second, right? Because I thought I was everything, right? 27, making millions of bucks. I had a 6,000 square foot house. You know, I was the youngest guy in the neighborhood. I was the only Hispanic or minority in the neighborhood. I was like, yeah, I'm good. And like, boom, like it all just came crashing. And so for anyone who is going through this right now, because COVID and all of this situation right now, this is your financial crisis. It's the same thing. It's just, this is your time, right? Take a deep breath, work through it, and understand that this is part of your journey. And someday you're going to be thankful for what you're going through right now. Now, to answer your question on a more worldly level, yeah, man, I remember not being able to wake up. I remember being depressed. I remember staying in bed all the time. And I remember the bill collectors were calling me. And one day I just finally had to realize, like, I got to stop feeling sorry for myself. Because Danny, you remember this number one principle you believe in, and that's no one's coming to save you. And so if no one's coming to save you, then you have to save yourself. And so the first thing that I did was I looked at the bills, right? And I told my wife at that time, I said, listen, any bill collectors call, just hang up on them. Like, don't worry about them. And I just grabbed all the bills and I ripped them up and I threw them in the trash. And some people might go, oh my God, that's not responsible, so forth and so on. Well, if you can't pay the damn bills, then why the fuck are you worried about it? Why are you giving yourself so much drama? You know what I'm saying?
You can control what you can control.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, look, control what you can control, right? So right now, you can't control that situation, but you can control how you feel. You can't control how you feel about COVID. You can't control how you feel about what's going on. You can't control the perspective that you have on what's happening to your life. So I said, I'm going to make this a different perspective. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go work my tail off, right? And then I'll come back when I can deal with these people, and I'll deal with them then. And sure enough, that's what happened. I went back to the basics, 7 days a week. For 6 months, I closed like 28 deals in 6 months. I literally told my ex-wife back then, I was like, look, you ain't gonna see me for 6 months. But at the end of the day, this is another thing. Declare to your family what you're going to do. Stop being so afraid. Human beings have been taught to be afraid of a couple of things. Number one, how is it gonna happen? You have a goal. You want to buy your mom a house. You want to buy yourself a house. You want to move out of the ghetto. You want to do whatever you want to do, right? The first thought that comes to your mind is, wait a minute, how's that going to happen? Here's the secret to all abundance in life. It never matters how it's going to happen. The only thing that matters is that you intend it to happen. The how will manifest. It will show up, okay? So that's number one. Number two, you have to declare. People don't declare. And I posted about this recently on Instagram because there was this quote, this post going around, from all these like quote unquote success people, whatever the case may be, and they were saying, like, don't tell anybody what you're gonna do, just show them, and then just show them what you're made of and all this crap. That's the opposite of the universal law of manifestation. You actually have to declare, at least to your family members. So I told my ex-wife, I would tell my kids what's going to happen. To this day, I say, Tata's going to do A, B, C, and D. And sure enough, it's like boom, 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 boom. So I'm already programming them to understand and believe in their ability to declare. This way, there's no blockage from what you can create in life, right? And so that's what I did, man. And I just went out, I got us out of the run, and I said, by the time we're done with this, in 6 months, I promise you, we will not be living with my mom anymore, because that's where we were living, because that's what we could afford. And I will get us back into a home to rent. And 12 months after that, we will buy our first home again. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
You know, it's crazy because, like, I say that I live a life of manifestation. So, like, everything that I really want to bring into my life, I mean, I work towards it, but I always put it out to the universe and I'm going to make something occur, right? And so, but living within the state of manifestation, it also requires you to, you're a goal setter, but a very different way of goal setting. You know, it's a different format compared to the person that just sits down and writes their goal. It's a little bit more of action. It's a little bit more intense. It's a little bit more getting the mentors around you that can really help you get to it. Like, can you walk us through how you goal set, and like, how is it that you actually get to manifest a lot of things in your life?
That's a great question. For all of you, please understand, I'm just in a much different place in my life now than I was even a year ago. So I'm going to answer that two ways, okay? I'm going to answer that first, the year ago me, right? The year ago me would have answered that like this. I write it down, I focus on it, I think about it, and then I go work my ass off to go get it, okay? The now me, I write it down, I never think about it ever again, and it all just shows up. Now, this is very important. I am at that space in my life because we're talking 11 ayahuasca ceremonies in, 5 or 6 mushroom ceremonies in. I am completely an open channel right now, spiritually, emotionally, physically. I'm not gonna, if you guys would have seen me this morning, I was working with a shaman who released some spirits out of me. I was literally shaking on the ground, the whole shit. So I'm just a different kind of cat now, you know? Yeah, it's just a different ball game. But if we're like, you know, if we're in it and if we're doing the work, then I would say the basics are, you got to write it down and you got to remind yourself of it, because remember, you still got all that negative programming. So you have to like input the positive programming, and you have to write it down and look at it on a daily basis. And then you have to channel your mind to focus on the number one thing that you can do that will eventually get you to the other thing. For me, it was listings. For me, it was, I take 10 listings a month. 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 If I could take 10 listings a month, everything else that I wanted would happen. And so what I teach our clients, right, because our clients go through the same thing, right? I teach our clients the same exact thing. I show them, you know, what's the one thing? It's typically listings, right? Which so many people are afraid of. That's a whole nother story. But it's typically listings. And if we can get you to first take 1 listing a month, and then 2 listings a month, and then 3 listings a month, and then 4 listings a month. I mean, I guarantee you, your audience right now, they take 4 listings a month, their life will never be the same. But to get to 4, you first got to get to 1, and get to 1 consistently, and put that pressure on yourself to go out and get
it. That was really powerful for the people in this crowd that are real estate, and I really appreciate you just addressing that through that question without us even asking, so that's awesome. I heard you say something, you told a funny story, and then you kind of, you put it into something else, that when you first got out to California, you had to buy a car. So you bought a car for $2,500, but you didn't realize the car was a stick shift. So at 13, you became the family driver because nobody else could learn how to drive. So you were driving around the whole family at 13. But more importantly to that is what you said, is that you went from being the older brother to really almost a father figure and a leader at 13 immediately. You know, how did that shape you, and how did that make you mature very fast and put you on the path that you are now?
Yeah, so, shit, man, this is going to get deep. Okay, so I'm going to answer that 2 ways. The old way and then the new way, okay? So the old me, it gave me so much responsibility. It gave me pressure, which at the time I would say pressure is a privilege. It made me not count on anybody but myself, which is good and bad. It made me grow up as a man very, very quickly. At 13 years old, I basically stopped having a parents because my father wasn't around, and then my mom was more like my co-parent with my little brothers. So it was a very interesting dynamic. It was just a very different scenario, right? So what it did for me, living in the matrix, quite frankly, it made me go out there and it made me go grind and go get what I wanted. New me now. That was very painful. And that caused a lot of trauma in me. And that separated me from my heart, it separated me from my emotions, it separated me from relationships, it separated me from connection, because I created a story and a paradigm where, and you hear this all the time, if it's gonna be, it's up to me, which yes, that is true. But my mind was so obsessive with power and with the need for power and money and success and fame that I was never at peace and at rest with myself. And I'm going to show you guys something, a trip that was the result of this, because I teach this all the time. I say, if your outside world is a reflection of your inside world. This was 5 years ago. So to the world, I was successful. I was making a lot of money. I had a big company, but I'm not very happy right there. I'm not a very happy human being, And so there were pros and cons to that, So I don't know if that's.
Yeah, that was right. And I'm 42 now. I have 2 children that we have a similar life at this point. And I find myself now, and what you just said just really resonated with me, because I find myself now, stuff just coming to my brain now and getting clear that happened 25 years ago, 20 years ago. And I'm just getting settled on that stuff now. And I don't know if it's age or it's children or it's just, but you saying that, what do you think, what changed you from one person to the other, where you got all this perspective and you started to address some of the pain you had in the past, where you just probably were blocking it out to get where you had to go? You know what I mean? How did you start to address that? Was it just something that happened, or did you force it to happen?
No. Yeah, it's a beautiful question. My mother, my mother and I love my mother. We just didn't have a very tight relationship. In other words, she wasn't very motherly to me. Reason being, my mother never had that example in her life. My mother's mother died when my mom was only 13 days old. And so my mom grew up as a little girl. Just think about this. This is the real world, right? My mom grew up as a little girl with a lot of trauma inside from never feeling that motherly love. So that when it came to me, it's like, of course she loved me. She just didn't have that maternal ability to show me the love that I deserved and that I needed, right? Okay, but it was part of my journey. My soul picked my mother and my father. This is important for all of you. There are no accidents. You should never be mad at your parents. I don't care what they did to you. And I know some of our parents have done some pretty bad shit to us. Believe it or not, your soul picked the perfect parents to cause your journey to be what it is so that you can become who you're intended to become. And so what happened is that my mother was, I don't mean to upset anybody. I'm just going to tell you my story and my truth, and then you have to deal with that however you deal with that. But my mother was a devout Christian. She would go to church every single Sunday. And my mother got cancer. She got lung cancer. And that was very difficult to me because I knew deep inside, wait a minute, my mom never smoked a day in her life. Something's going on here. I just didn't know what. I didn't know why. And I saw her literally wither away in front of me. And even the last moment, I remember she was laying there and I'm the one that held her. And now I know in my spiritual journey, there's a reason why I was there holding her. But I was there holding her, and I had my head down on her shoulder, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, my mom is dying, you know? And I remember her taking her last breath. The pastor said, and Jesus said, and she like shook her hand and tried to mumble amen, and then literally like, boom, she was gone. And that's what started it for me. What started it for me was I started asking questions. I started asking questions about life, about God, about spirituality, because I started saying, hang on a second, how could this happen to someone that like did all the right stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, they did all the right things. How could this happen? How could this? She was faithful. She served in ministry. She would feed the poor. And then how does this happen? And no one's explanation made sense to me. So I had to find my own explanation. And as I started looking for my own explanation, I started realizing I'm really unhappy in my life. I'm married to someone right now that I knew the day that I got married, I wasn't in love with. But I got married because of the pressure of what I created inside of me that was this success profile. You got a business, you're in a relationship, you have kids. And so I was just looking for like, hey, you want to get married? You want to get married? Are you pretty, halfway cute? You're a nice human? Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. You know, I'm just being honest. That's where I was. Because my ego, my mind was so about like, I got to become this thing. So that if I can become this thing, then people will love and accept me. And if people love and accept me, then I'll feel good inside. And then I just realized that I wasn't happy, man. And that I was living a lie. And I was living a lie based off of what I wanted everybody out there to see in me. And I didn't even know who the hell I was. I wasn't connected to my heart. I was living my life up here. And that's when I heard about ayahuasca for the very first time. I actually heard about it 13 years previous, but I was so religious, I was like, that shit's the devil. Nope, never doing that again. Never doing that. And there was something about this point in my life where I was just like, I'm ready. I'm ready. And that's what started the unraveling process. And my ex-wife and I divorced. She has gone through her healing. We're now like really, really good friends. Our relationship is wonderful. And business is great, and life is great, and I'm just on this path now to help other people wake up as well and see what's really going on inside.
And I saw like on your website, so you help everybody with their mind, body, soul, and even in finance and stuff like that. So can you walk us through like how you can, what do you do for these people when they come into your organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are in the process right now, because you got to understand something, guys. I am able to now, I see the matrix and I see the world and I see people's pain in ways that is almost like, you wouldn't even believe me if I told you what I clearly see. I clearly see it. And so as a result, for so many years, you can even go back and look through my Instagram. It was like I was afraid to tell the truth. I was afraid to tell the truth that I know. And I was afraid to tell the truth that I have experienced in my own life. And so we are right now literally putting it all together. But, you know, if you look at a human being, if you really want abundance in your life, you need it in these categories. Number one is in your mind. And specifically, you have to detach from the mind. Because what the Matrix has done is helped us it's taught us to detach from our emotions and our feelings. Like, men can't show feelings. Men can't give other men hugs. Men can't tell another man, I love you, because you're gay right away. Well, let's talk about that. What's wrong with being gay? Who says that being gay is wrong? There's so many limitations and so many barriers, right? We really think about this. There is no black, there is no white, there is no Chinese, there is no Hispanic, there is no America, there is no Russia, there is no gay, there is no straight, there's just love. We're all energy. That's who we are. And so that's the first thing people have to realize, is that they got to remove that thinking, because the mind, and the reason why we've been taught to live from the mind and not from the heart, is because the mind is programmable. The mind is programmable, and the TV and religion and everything that's out there can program you to literally think, act, behave exactly the way it wants to. Look at what happened recently with the election. People going apeshit. People breaking windows. People no longer friends with each other. Why? Because that's what darkness wants. It wants separation. That was the game plan all along. And so that's the first thing, is we help people to disconnect from the mind, right? Just by very simply understanding that they are not their mind. And sitting still every single day. Number two is the body. I mean, you can't house a healthy and powerful soul without a healthy and powerful body. And the fitness industry and the bodybuilding industry in particular has this whole thing jacked up. They teach men to eat, 1.5 grams of protein a day. I'm on 65 grams of protein a day. I will never, ever, for as long as I live, ever eat an animal, ever. Because what do animals do? Animals cause inflammation. And what leads you susceptible to disease and to COVID and to everything? Inflammation. So we are taught at 21 years old to do a couple of things. Go out and celebrate. Yeah, it's my turn. I made it. I finally made it. Woohoo. All right, what are we going to do? Let's go get fucked up. Let's go get drunk. And so right when you're in that process of adolescence and developing yourself, you're shown a bottle and you're said, here. All that shit you feel inside that you don't know how to deal with because we've programmed you in the fucking mind, here, drink this. This will make you feel a lot better. And so what do? We watch NFL football on Sunday, sitting on the couch with our pot belly, with our homies, eating the potato chips that are full of shit, drinking the alcohol. We don't even know that we're here. We're not even alive. We're not even alive. So that's why the body is so important, right? Because if you don't take care of the body, then you can't connect with your spirit, then you can't attract what you really want to have in life. Number three is the finances. Everybody's on a rat race. The Matrix has purposely shown us and never taught us. Think about this for a second. In school, they didn't teach you how to deal with your emotions. They didn't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They didn't teach you how to do anything. You had to figure it out on your own. And so then you finally make money, like me. I finally made a little money, right? And what do? I go buy an Aston Martin. I go buy the baddest Rolex. I go buy 75 custom suits. I go buy the big house. I go buy it all. I didn't know how to manage my money. Well, what made me do all those things? What made me buy all those things? It's simple. The Matrix defines success as having a lot of stuff. And so the entire planet, all human beings, what they are focused on is having a lot of stuff. Because if I can have a lot of stuff, then I will be accepted and I will finally be happy. Okay, well let me test you on this. You get that new car. How happy do you feel? Great! For how long? A week. And then it goes away, and guess what you have to do? You have to go get another car. Or you finally get those red bottom shoes. Or you finally get that purse. Or you finally get those gold teeth you've been looking for. Or whatever it is that you get. Whatever cockamamie idea you have that makes you think that if you get that thing that you're going to be happy. You're on a never-ending cycle of looking for happiness outside of yourself. That's what causes illness. That's what causes emotional sickness. That's what causes financial distress. It is the plan of the Matrix to keep you broke, unhappy, and make you die early.
Everything you're saying is super powerful, and I think that we're seeing a lot of comments come in. I don't know if you're seeing them, how moved people are from your story. And Lovio and I started Disruptors Network 2 years back now for a lot of the reasons you're speaking about, that there's only so many things you can buy in life. There's only so much things you can do, but how are we supporting our community? How are we lifting other people's up? How are we creating new leaders, within our societies? And that's always been our mission. Like, from day one, that's been our mission. And, to give value out, and then from the value, business will come, money will come, friendships will come, all the stuff, as long as we give value out first. So I can't explain to you how grateful I am for hearing what you have to say, because I didn't know a lot of this about you. And I'm just really happy that this is what you're speaking, because it's really resonating with people, I can tell already, because they're responding, and it's really resonating with me, and I know with you.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
You know, he's you in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you know, it's on that same topic too. Before we move on, it's like you touched on something that's very important. How like the image of success, right? So like we're living in a day and age today where everybody's looking for social media, and they're always like finding these people with 1 million followers, and they always have the Lambo in the back, you know. And so they're always like giving you this image of what success looks like, and you've never really put the work in, or all these different aspects of what we believe is actual success. And so me and Rob talk about this all the time. It's like the internet's filled with false prophets. You know, it's filled with people that everybody's a life coach now, everybody's a financial coach now, and all these different things. In your life, how is it that in your life you search for mentors? Because no matter how old we are, we're always still in search of finding mentors to come in, and especially you being with a shaman this morning, it's the same thing, you know, being able to be with someone that's years ahead to be able to bless you with their wisdom that they've learned through their mistakes and moving on from there. Like, what is your perspective on how to really look at someone that you're like, this is the type of person that I want to follow, and being vetting them and stuff?
That's a great question. And this is very important for all of you to understand. You know, number one, most influencers on social media are in pain. And I want you to really understand this. Start looking at the content. What is it that they want? They want you to follow them. For what? For what purpose? This is the game changer. For what purpose? To fill a void that they have inside of themselves. You could feel it in the posts. You could feel it. You could see the pain. When you awaken your third eye, your spiritual eye, and you start seeing things from this perspective, you'll start looking at it and go, oh, whoa, 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 look, I see the pain. Our poor women, it breaks my heart. Our poor, beautiful goddesses, man. It's like, I don't want to get too deep, but they're the source of all love. They're the source of all creation. And here they are searching for and looking for and pleading for men to love them and accept them. So where men use the Ferrari and the Lambo, what do women use? The body. The body. So I could see a beautiful woman. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's a beautiful woman, but I see, fuck, man, that's a lot of pain. Because I'm single now. I've had women come to my home, invite them for dinner, and I literally feel the moment that, ooh, that's a lot of pain. Sure enough, 4 hours later, I'm taking them through a journey because I'm on a mission here is to free humanity. So I'm literally taking them through a journey, like literally laying down, blindfolds on, eating the medicine and taking a journey, and they're crying and crying and crying and crying and releasing everything. So many women, I'll tell you one story, sexual abuse, oh my God. I had a woman once come to one of my ceremonies that was on 12 different medications a day. And she was on 12 different medications a day for over 20 years. Her body was aging. She was starting to have to use a cane. And what happened? She was sexually molested as a young girl by her family members. And so, of course, that pain is going to manifest into illness. That's how my mother passed away, by the way. She got cancer in the lung. What is the lung? That's where you hold your grief. And then the Matrix teaches you that a savior is coming to come and help you. No, sweetie, you have to learn to help yourself. You have to learn to heal yourself. That's what you're here for. That's what your journey is here for. Anyhow, that lady in one journey, boom, off all medications. She could sleep now. Life is better. Because why? Because she let go of all the emotions. I had a brother from New York. Brother from New York had this autoimmune disease. And this autoimmune disease, it would swell up his esophagus, his face, everything. He'd then have to stick a tube down his throat 3 times a year. And he was on all of these medications and these like psychotic drugs. And he came here and you know, I just loved him, dude. I just loved him. There was something about him that I loved so much. And he showed me on his medication. I go, bro, you don't need that shit. He goes, I don't. I go, no, we're going to heal that right now. And I think all it took was someone to just believe in him, and then the medicine does the work. Sure enough, one ceremony, boom, all medication's gone, body is healed, he's now completely off of everything. The doctors were like, no, you can't do this, you're gonna die, you're gonna blah, blah. No, that's the matrix. He disconnected himself and he found his heart. I don't even know what your question was. I felt like I had to say that. I was just flowing.
You got it. No,
You know, for sure.
You got it.
Because this actually ties into this, because it's like, so I live something that I call dualities, understanding the lifestyle that we're talking about, meditation, spirituality, really connecting to your soul and letting the universe really give you the wisdom that you need to move forward. But then there's also entrepreneurship, you know what I mean? Living within this matrix, in a sense, in order to succeed and do these different
Yes.
things. So I call it like living in duality, understanding that they both exist and being able to merge them in order to live a healthy lifestyle. Like,
Right.
do you follow something very similar for your own life?
Yeah, this is very important. Okay. I'm gonna share this with you guys. I don't think I've ever said this publicly. I am on track to, and I will be a billionaire. Now this is very important. Old Danny was like, I gotta be a billionaire. I gotta be a billionaire because once I'm finally a billionaire, then I'll have enough money and no. It's not even a target. It's, I have so much to offer the world. And I am so free within myself. And I have no limiting beliefs that I can manifest anything that I want to manifest. So why don't I go out and manifest incredible businesses that can feed people, that can help? Go on my Instagram. At least once a month, we just post literally to everybody watching. If you're a single mother and you don't have food, we will buy your food this week. For everybody. And we fulfill every single order that comes in. What if I were to create a business that could free people and help them find themselves? The exchange for that, their life increases. They make, 10x the money, right? The exchange for that is a fee. That's a beautiful business. There's nothing wrong with that. And so absolutely, yes. The question is, what is driving your business? Is it that you need a Lambo and you want to feel wealthy or whatever? Or is it that you genuinely want to help serve the community? You genuinely want to help people, because in whatever business you're in, that's the name of the game. If you genuinely love people and you genuinely want to help the community, everything you want will come to you.
I know Elohim and I probably have 1,000 more questions, and I want to be respectful of your time. So we have a lot of questions from the audience, so I'm going to take some so we don't keep you the whole entire day. I really.
I don't have anything to do. I work 10 hours a week, bro. I'm good. I'm solid. I'm good.
That's good. Again, I didn't expect to necessarily go down this road, and I'm glad we have, because it's something different that we've done before. And my question to you is, I really appreciate everything else you're doing, right? How do you fit business into that? Like, how do you fit business into everything else you're doing? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it something you completely had to shift? Like, how are you fitting business into everything else you're working on a daily basis, just spiritually and for the community and like all the people you're helping? How are you fitting business into that?
Well, I don't think that there's a separation. I think they're both. I think you are your business, and your business is you. I will say this, however, I had to sell my company because this is the message I want to share. And this message, as the CEO of that company, it wasn't working. Like people were, understandably, by the way, people were like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You know what I'm saying? But now I'm free. I can say whatever the hell I want to say, and I can speak the truth that I know I have to speak. You know what I'm saying? So as a result, I create businesses based off of what I want to do for people. Like, for example, this Saturday, I'm going to Tulum, and I'm leading a 7-day ayahuasca retreat, my very first one. And so we'll have 3 of them this year. The next one is in Costa Rica in May. And it'll be all about connecting people to their true potential and their highest self in mind, body, heart, and soul. And so my new company, the name of it is Journey to Higher Self. And everything that we do and everything that we create will be housed under there. So that's a great example of, journey to higher self. That's me. I'm on a journey to my highest self, and I want to help other people on their journey to their highest self. And that So the way I live my life is I don't want any separation. It's one and all. Yeah.
That's awesome.
100%. We have
Do
questions.
you,
on
Vic, you want to get some
We have
questions?
2 questions from 2 Clubhouse participants. Thank you guys for being so patient. So I'm going to have
We're going to bring Vicky in.
Carissa.
Danny, she's got some
Sure.
questions from the audience.
What's up, Vicky? How are you?
Hey, how are you? Briefly introduce yourself and give us your question.
By the way, show me how to use Clubhouse. I don't know how to use that.
You're on there too. I saw you on there, but we'll teach you.
You gotta bring it closer to the mic.
We'll just
Yeah,
I'll ask you and you'll ask them.
Okay, Carissa, go ahead.
Are we good?
We're good.
I've been listening to Danny Morel for a long time, as far as kind of his journey. And when I was a brand new realtor back in 2015, I used to listen to his podcast, and it kind of elevated my business through my mindset on just moving forward and being motivated and how can I scale and how can I move up. So I guess my question is really where I'm at in real estate. For me, I'm a sole agent. I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, do I continue doing what I'm doing, selling houses? My passion really would be to move on to different opportunities as far as investing and things like that. There's a difference between being debt-free and having wealth. And at this point, we are debt-free, but we are still accumulating wealth. We're still very young in that. So I kind of wanted to know, for you, where was that mentality shift where you were like, I'm no longer just going to be a realtor, a broker. I am now going to continue to expand myself and seek other more beneficial opportunities for yourself and your business and your family, et cetera, et cetera.
Danny, were you able to get all that?
Yeah, I got it. Two
Okay.
questions. 2 questions. Question number 1. Hang on.
She's coming closer to the screen. You're okay.
Oh, okay.
She can hear you.
Just question number 1, how many houses a year does she sell? And question number 2, how many are listings versus buyers?
Go ahead, Carissa, you can answer that one.
Okay, so for the last 2 years, consistently, I've done over 50, which for my area is pretty decent. Our average price point is 175, and listings have slowly started to become the majority, but it's about half and half right now. I know you're huge on knowing your numbers. I would say if I were going to put it on numbers, it would be definitely heavier in buyers than listings as of right now.
Yeah. So first off, congratulations on doing 50. That's incredible. Right now, it sounds to me like what you're saying is you're a solopreneur. And what I mean by a solopreneur is that most of your production and most of your income is a direct result of your energy, your actions, your time, so forth and so on. I would say that before you say it's time to move on from real estate, you first have to utilize real estate and this wonderful vehicle to get you financially free. And in order to get financially free, you have to understand how much money that is in either the bank invested at an 8% interest or in properties that can give you monthly rents. You cannot leave real estate until you first identify what it costs you to live and you have something in place that pays you that amount that it costs you to live. That's when you're financially free. By the way, when you work or not, and that could be your database that keeps you fed so many deals per year that you go, hey, you know what? I can sell this database to somebody, get a little 30% referral, and that money alone will pay me. Or that might mean that you got to go get this thing 3 or 4 more years, right, with the right guidance, and go put together a plan so that you can save away enough money every year, get that money invested, and that money can then start working for you to give you financial freedom. Because here's what happens. We try to jump the gun a little too soon. And we try to say, you know what, I'm going to go do that. I'll tell you right now, I've done it all. There's not too many vehicles that can pay you like real estate pays you. I would say cut your expenses, stash away a lot of money, get it invested in the stock market. In our program, we teach you exactly where to put it. Start buying some real estate. We show you exactly what to do with that. Get yourself financially free, and then you can do whatever you want to do. But until you're financially free, you can't do that. So you're in the right vehicle, you're selling the right amount of houses. Maybe it's time to leverage all of your knowledge, build a business, build a team, show other people what you know, leverage those resources, put it away, invest it, and in 4 or 5 years, once you could say, like, wow, I'm financially free, then you can go do whatever you want to go do.
I appreciate that, Danny. We
Let's
have
do it.
another
Let's-
question.
Let's listen.
So this one is from Tehran. Briefly introduce yourself and shoot
Get closer to the
Danny your
microphone.
question.
Vic, over here.
Hey, Danny, I'm Teron Dixon. I'm a college student, and I'm also a TA at Cardinal Financial and practicing to become a loan officer. My question is, in your younger years, do you feel that you had a disconnect with the world and actually focus on your dreams and put everything else aside to achieve what you want?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. In my younger years, I disconnected from everything. I disconnected from, I'll be honest, I disconnected from family, I disconnected from friends, I disconnected from everything, and I went all in. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm saying that's what I honestly did. And it obviously helped me, you know? So yeah, that's my answer. That's my answer. Because the one thing you'll notice, and forgive me, but I didn't hear your name, but the one thing you'll notice is that, remember something, since most human beings have layers of programming over the mind, that programming isn't positive programming, by the way. It's negative programming. So most people around you are very negative, even though they love you and they want the best for you. And so that's why I had to literally say, I'm good. I'm good, you know, and like, I love you from a distance type of deal. I'm gonna go over here and go do what I gotta go do.
Okay, and my second question to you is, when it comes to friends and who you hang around, at, like they said, in my early 20s, did you fade off because they weren't doing what you were, let's say, what you were after in life, and they're kind of after something different? You know, you have a different path, and they have a different path. They may be focused on still partying and doing things you're not so much interested in anymore. Or did you just be honest with them and just let it go?
I forgot, I didn't get, is he talking about friends?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
basically
friends.
asking if you, at that point, if your friends weren't going in the same direction, did you just let them go and go your own path, or did you continue to hang around the same people that you were kind of around in your younger years?
Or even
Oh,
communicate with them too, like, that you're gone.
Yeah, I was ruthless. Yeah, I was ruthless. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm a new guy now, but back then, yes, I was ruthless. But you know what? To be honest with you guys, even like more now, I protect my energy, and so I have very few friends. I'll be honest. Do I have friends? I mean, like, I got cool people I know, but am I the kind of guy that like hangs out with the crowd or whatever? I've just never been like that. No, it's not me. No.
Vic, do you want to go to the next one?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you,
But
John.
just remember, if you want to ask a question, put
Um,
the hand icon.
So we have a question from Kelly.
Well,
Actually, I'm sorry, we have a question from Eugene. Can you share your listing and sales story? So I guess he's talking about how you started getting 10 listings. Besides manifesting it, was there something else that helped you start getting all those listings?
Yeah, I was a prospecting machine. I would get in the office by 7:30 in the morning. I would pull all my expires in for sale by owners. By 8 o'clock, I would go through my 7:45 to 8. I would go through my first round. I would have a double headset at the time because there weren't dialers. So trip out on this. There was a headset over here that was attached to a little square keypad like this on one side and a square keypad on this side. And I would dial, press mute, say the same script to both people, listen to their answer, unmute, give the same answer to both people, listen to their answer, mute. If they would say, I'm not interested, I'd hang up on this one, I'd start dialing on this one, keep the conversation going on this one, and then I would just have 2 conversations like that all day long. I would do that, I would door knock. I was an animal, guys. That I will say, you know.
What you said just kind of spurs a question for me. Do you feel like, and I feel like everybody's got something, and you obviously have some special talents outside of this, but did you feel like when you first got into sales that was something special, like just what you said is a pretty high level skill? Did you have something that was innate in you that you just had, and once you plugged in, you realized it?
The most
Maybe it was
important,
your personality.
I mean, people say I have a good personality and my smile or whatever, yeah, but I think but then that means that some people can be successful and some people can't. Because some people have those attributes and some people can't. I'm telling you because I coach these people, right? I'll give you a true story. I have a guy named Jose Bonilla. He's in my program right now. When Jose joined me, he was 70 pounds overweight. I'm talking like majorly overweight. He was working 7 days a week. He was massively unhealthy. He was closing 25 deals a year. Last year, he closed 100 deals. He lost 70 pounds. And he's working about 30 hours a week right now and making about $800,000 a year. I think anybody can do it. You just gotta know what you want, and then yeah, it's gonna take you some guidance. And I will say this, if I have a gift, it is, and I have verified this, is by people when they're around me, literally, things inside of them is starting to be transmuted so they can see the world in a different way, which allows them then to really think about what they want, which allows them then to go be inspired and go do something else basically. And I would say if I had a gift, that would be my gift.
That's good. That's awesome. Next question. Sorry, we're scrolling through. um, so, yeah, it's over there, Kay. No, it's not. Kay, do you have also questions about Instagram, just while we get to them? Okay, so I saw a question from Kelly, and I think she asked if because it popped up, and now we're having trouble finding it, but I think I remember it. I know she was next. I'm sorry, Danny. Hold on one second.
Oh no, dude, you're good.
Okay. Okay. So your thoughts on resetting your time frame for a woman? She said hers came much later at 38, but your thoughts of women start to reset their mental and they can reset their lives, kind of like you did.
I think it has to do like with the topic that we're talking about with men, that by 27 and 32,
they kind of reset.
This is when we have that time set that because we're becoming men and we're going to become fathers. So I think this is what she means, that happens for her at 38, so it's a little bit later. So what do you think about?
Is it are women later or are they earlier? What is your thought usually?
Yeah. For me, women are so special because women for so many years, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years, have been controlled, manipulated, and taught to believe that they're less than they are by men. As a matter of fact, if you look at the first line in the Bible, right, supposedly Eve showed up and made Adam sin. So right away, a woman sees herself as something bad. No stories in the Bible are ever shown of Mary Magdalene and how important she was to Jesus and how important she was to the movement. And this is all for a reason, because darkness understands that women are the key to all light and women are the key to all love. And so our women have gone through a lot of pain, and mainly, unfortunately, at the hands of men, So I would say for a woman, I don't think it matters really when it starts. I would say that if I would give any advice to a woman, it would be to really connect to her heart, because her heart and her intuition specifically, a woman's intuition, that's where, as a matter of fact, for this young lady that's talking to me right now, her intuition has always told her what to do, what she's capable of, who to be around, who not to be around. But her mind convinced her to do otherwise. It's time for her to start listening to her intuition and trusting her feelings and emotions, because that's where the answer is. And when she connects to that, then everything else will take care of itself, because there will be nothing more for her to do. She literally just needs to sit and be in herself, in her own beauty, in her own power. and everything else will manifest and take care of itself.
That's awesome.
That is beautiful.
Whoever that is, send
So-
me a message on Instagram, please.
I think she's still on. Kelly, if you're still on, I hope you heard that and send a message over. I saw something pop up before, and I'm not want to go fish through the questions again. I'm just going to kind of ask off the top of my head. How long was the feeling that you needed to sell your business and move on to something else in you before you finally addressed it and did it? Like, how long did you have that feeling before you went there?
Give me one quick second.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you're good.
So how long was that feeling? I'll tell you when it happened. Nobody's ever asked me for this. It started happening 4 years ago. What started happening was I believe so much in people and I want to help people so much. Like I would pour my heart. I mean, you could feel it. I would pour my heart and soul into people, like to help them sell more houses. And sure enough, they would sell more houses. Like that was the promise of my company. You show up, you sell 10 houses a year, we'll get you to 30, we'll get you to 35 houses a year. Sure enough, it would happen. But then people would go and like, because someone else would offer them like 100% split or whatever, like then they would go somewhere else. And that would like break my heart, man. It was like, ugh. And then I just started getting so much resentment and just so much like, whoa, you know, and then just the industry as a whole, really here in Southern California, like they didn't like me, you know, and then they didn't like me because I did for two reasons. Number one, I was an arrogant asshole. That's my part. So I'm not a victim. I did it. But number two, I was so successful that for a lot of people, it was like a love-hate relationship with me, you know? And all of those feelings and all of those emotions just started weighing heavy on me. And I was just like, man, this is a lot to deal with, you know? And then I'll tell you what happened was my mom came to me through a medium and said that I would sell the company and I would end up opening up a healing center. Sure enough, the right buyer came. I'm still an owner, in their growth. They're growing like gangbusters right now, but I no longer have an active role in the business. I will say something else for all of you that are out there. The company was doing $1 billion a year in sales, and I already was working less than 5 hours a week in it. So I had built a legitimate business that didn't need my involvement, and that's when you really have a business, and it's what we teach people to do now.
A lot of what you're saying is resonating now, and I'd like to I want to tell you this because you can't see it. We probably have 50 comments about how amazing this is, and this is the greatest thing ever, and the greatest Zoom. So I can see it, you can't. So I just wanted to let you know that because you're making it this way. So I appreciate. A lot of what you're saying, and again, I just want to get back to something that you say stuff to me, and it kind of sparks something in my brain. A lot of what you're saying is resonating with me in general, and how do you deal with the people that have come to you constantly to build them back up? Like you just said, you had an agency who come to you, help them, they'd get to a certain point, and they'd go someplace else. How would you deal with that now? The people that come from you deplete you to help them get back up, and then when they get back up, they're like, hey, look at me, look at what I did. And then they kind of separate themselves. Like, how would you deal with that now? As the person you are now, how would you advise someone to deal with that now? When you're helping constantly, people are taking away from you, you're not getting anything from it, and then they're like, how do you guard against that?
Yeah, well, you have to realize that it's just their journey and it's your journey, and you have to take responsibility for it. You have to realize that there's something you're doing and there's something that you are being that is causing that to happen. Because anything outside of that, anything outside of you, then you're a victim, and you can't live your life as a victim. So if I look back, now that I know my human design, I know more about myself, I know that I have that kind of energy with people, and I understand that sometimes they see me in a way that is unfair to me, and I can tend to let them down at times. And that's why, because I'm not fulfilling what they need from me, for example, which they don't need me, they need themselves. And that's why my message today has changed. It's like, it's not me, it's you. If you're inspired by this message, you're inspired because you're seeing something within you that you want to unlock. And that's the reality. And so, yeah, I would accept responsibility. And And then, and it doesn't happen anymore because now the relationship is very clear. We've got our coaching clients, right? We've got people that attend our retreats, attend our seminars, and it's like we provide the life-changing material that we provide, and they're happy. And if they want to continue, they can continue, and if not, it's perfectly fine. And it's just, it feels a lot better that way now.
Yeah, so this is my final question, because I normally do this when like I'm talking to people for their branding videos and different things like that to really brand, to see exactly who these people are and stuff. And a lot of us, I always say that I'm in the pursuit of happiness. Like my life is always in the pursuit of happiness. I wake up, do my meditation. I'm every day on that same like journey to always stay happy and doing these things. And so in your life, and if you had to say one thing for people that they can be able to use as motivation for themselves in order to really be able to live the life that they always wanted, like at the end of the day, we all have a path that we're supposed to follow or that we want to follow, a journey. We're on our own pursuit for happiness and eternal happiness as well. If you had to say something to someone for them to really have not only that moment to change, but for something for them to be able to follow, to be able to lead themselves in that same manner, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, and this is for you and this is for everybody. I would say, and I say this with a gentle heart, I would say stop pursuing. Because all the happiness and all the success and all the love you need is already inside of you. Everything you've ever wanted to be, you already are. Everything that you've ever really wanted to have, you already have it. Everything that you've ever wanted to feel, you already feel it. You're just a little confused right now. And that's what the Matrix does. And so if you want to take that into practicality now, I would say, number one, I would say, get a good morning routine. Every day go for a walk for 30 minutes because it just does something to you. It does something to get your blood flowing, right? Number two, every day meditate, and at the beginning, that's tough. That's this, it's very hard at the beginning because your mind is all over the place, where you have to train yourself to keep yourself still. I would say number three, slowly.
You're okay.
I would say number three, sorry about that, I have kids here. I would say number three.
No, my kids don't respect Zoom calls at all, so don't worry about it. They have no respect for it at all. So
They're real happy over there. That's exactly what it is.
My son's head is usually in the screen, so you're totally fine.
I would say number three, eliminate as much as you can animal protein. Because it blocks you energetically from feeling what you really should be feeling, which is yourself. You're ingesting death. And I know for some of you, look, I'm not trying to fight with you or argue with you. As a matter of fact, if you feel any of that, that's your mind, that's your ego, because it doesn't want to let go of the thing that you're so used to. This is how deep the programming is, my friends. This is how deep the programming is. And then I would say number four, man, just start to look outside and see God. See God in other people, see God in your pets, see God in your trees that are outside, and realize how beautiful this life really is. And I think that once you do that, you'll see that everything you've ever wanted, you already have. And then from there, you can go build more if you want to have more, So.
Sure. That's beautiful. Vic, did you have anything you wanted to ask?
No.
Okay, good.
So Danny, we're gonna wrap up and let you go. I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Where is the best place people can talk to you first, and then get a hold of you if they were interested in your coaching or speaking to you, whatever? Where would you say would be the best place to get in touch with you?
Instagram is like my favorite. I like it. So Danny Morel on Instagram. I'm on Clubhouse. I don't know what to do with it, but just go find me there. Eventually I'll start there.
Yeah.
But I would say, and then my podcast, just type in my name, Danny Morel, or type in Evolve, and it's typically on YouTube or on the podcast app. Just know, I've never been one to I just flow on the podcast, so I don't even know if it's the right format or not. I just flow. So
We like that. Once again, we really appreciate you being here, and this was amazing. And anything, if there's anything we can ever do for you in the future, we would love to help. Anything you have going on, or support, or promote, or whatever. But really, really appreciate you just coming. I think, again, from the comments, I can't tell you how many comments we've gotten of how beautiful this was and how much people resonated with it. So that makes me happier than anything that we brought some real value. How great the content was. So just thank you again, and we hope to speak to you soon again in the future.
Yeah, thank you. And you're going to see me at one of your retreats, so you can expect that.
I'll do that, bro, for sure. And thank you guys. You guys are awesome people. Really, if you're out there watching these guys, you should be thanking them, because they're the ones that are like, this takes a lot of hard work. This takes a lot of people. This takes a lot of energy. So make sure that you're supporting them however you can. And we'll see you guys soon. I have an event every year. That's the one that Kobe was at. It used to be called Relentless. We're changing the name, but it'll be June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of this year. On Instagram, I'm sure you'll hear about it.
So I got one thing for you, real quick. So we're Kobe, with somebody we probably talk about daily. Did you have one interaction with him that you can give us that really stayed with you all this time? I think that for somebody I never met in my life, there's more curiosity and pain and emotion there around him not being here anymore than anything for me. So did you have a moment with him that you could share that was special to you?
Yeah, it was the moment I met him, because the year prior I had A-Rod at the event. And by the way, A-Rod, I love you, but A-Rod was a little bit uptight. And so in my head, I was thinking, it's freaking Kobe. Like, Kobe's bigger than A-Rod. Like, it's Kobe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bigger than life, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, oh my God. And his staff was like, you do not do this, you do not do that, you do not do this, you do not do that, you do not do that. It's like, oh my God, this is, all right, well, please, no cell phones, no nothing, like don't look at them, don't nothing, right? And so sure enough, I'm waiting in this room where they're bringing him in from like the hallway, and we're in this private room. The crowd is going nuts because we had everybody clear the room, so they're all waiting, they're trying to peek, so forth and so on, and my ex-wife was there. She was a little buzzed. My kids were there, and then my brother was there, right? And then sure enough, like the door opens, I'll never forget it, and it was like this light behind this tall figure, and this dude just walks in. He's just calm and confident and beautiful is what he really was, to be honest with you. And then he's wearing his sunglasses. He takes off his sunglasses. He walks right up to me and he goes, "What's up, man? I'm Kobe." And there was something about the way he said it that I was like, I still get goosebumps thinking about it. It was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. And it showed me his heart, and it showed me that, he had learned a lot of lessons in life, and he was humbled, and he was a beautiful man.
That makes me happy that your experience with him was good, because it kind of reinforces all that we feel about him. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. And thank you again, Denny. It was really great having you. And,
Thank you, brother.
Talk to you again soon. Have a good one, brother.
Take care, guys.
All right. Take care. For everybody who's still on, I hope everybody really, really enjoyed this. For us, this was more than I could have ever expected from a guest, so I'm really, really happy about it. We have some really, really special things coming. Specifically, our show is launching next month, February 18th, and I'm really, really excited to show this to everybody. It's going to be on Amazon Prime and Roku with Apple TV and YouTube TV, and the guys here, the guy sitting next to me, has worked so hard on this, and the guy who's off camera right now, Grant,
Rizzo.
I can't wait for everybody to see how special their talent is, and how I only look so good because they make me look so good most days. So, just stay tuned for that. And again, for everybody that didn't hear, I just want everybody to join our text community, because all the updates on this stuff is going to go out. And again, the text number is 646-687-5311. And if you text us that, we'll respond. And we're going to put a lot of special stuff out. And just thank everybody again for so much support, because it's everybody's support, and how much this stuff resonates from you is why we do all this stuff. So I really, really appreciate all of you, and I hope everybody enjoyed what we just put together.
Yes, and stay tuned because that show is going to be very powerful for us to continue to understand how important entrepreneurship is and actually being able to see, like just what we spoke about today, like being able to know people that are actually doing real change and actually build real businesses. It's very important for you to start following the right people that have really done it, and hopefully that's what we could be able to give you guys. And so that's how you have something really big to look forward to. So February 18th, that's it for us.
Thank you,
There
everybody.
you go, guys.
Have a
Ciao.
good one, guys.
Take care, guys.
Hold on. All right, guys, take care.
Da, 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 da.